Hello everyone, it's Jean from Inky Studio. I'm starting a new project and this is going to be a method I've not done here on the channel before, but I'm going to be making a base out of chipboard, and this is a medium weight chipboard that you can get craft stores or online. And then I'm going to be using muslin cloth covering it. And I'm doing this so that I can customize the color of the journal to what I would like. I am choosing these colors here, these greens, and one is raw sienna, basil green, and fern leaf. And so these are from the folk art line, but you can choose any colors you want, any kind of acrylic paint that you want to use. And I'm just going to show you two different ways. I'm going to show you one way to make the color just one solid color, and the other way I'm going to show you how to antique it and make it look a little bit more like a worn cover. So let's get started with that process. I'm going to start with some chipboard, and this is medium weight chipboard that I cut 5 by 7, and the spine is 1 1/4 by 7, so it's going to be a little bit smaller of a journal on the small side. And then some muslin fabric, and this is inexpensive muslin, nothing fancy about it, so any kind of a thin cotton would be great. You'll want a piece that is about 1.5 inches larger than your covers are. And I'm going to be using this PVA glue, which I got this on Amazon. It's a bookbinding glue. I think I prefer this glue over fabric tack, because fabric tack tends to leave like a bit of a stain, or where you can see it on the cloth, because the cloth is thin. And I was just afraid that would, eventually affect how I painted it. Then you're going to put that little spine right in the middle of the cloth. We'll rub it down well. We have to work that glue into the fabric. Try to be generous with the glue, because there is going to be a lot of absorption, much more than if you're just working with paper. And make sure the edges are well covered. And we're going to place it a generous 1/4 inch away from the spine, because it will, because it's a cotton fabric, it's going to shrink slightly as we go through this process. You might want to take a brayer or a key card to spread it out and make sure there's contact. And if there's a place it's lifting away, you can put a little extra glue there. And as you lay down your pieces, you want to make sure that they are even, and that they're not, they're all the same height. And just always be on the lookout for an area that just might not be catching. I think here I saw one up on the edge after saying you need to get the edges down. Yeah, so you just kind of make sure you find those little spots. And then when you get that all in place, we're going to turn it over. Now we're going to wrap that fabric into the cover. And I mitered the edges to get rid of the excess fabric. And then I experimented by just cutting off the little very tippy corners, because I kind of, in my mind, was thinking, well, this will help the fabric fold over a little bit better. And so in the end, I don't know how I'll like it. You'll see it and you'll be able to determine yourself. I mitered too close on this little edge. As you can see, I can barely wrap it over. So I made sure that I left, a bit more generous room on the other corners there. And I started by gluing down each corner. Don't know if you have to do it this way, but this is just what I did. It is a messy project, so if you just got a manicure, you may want to wear a glove. And now we're going to start wrapping our edges over. And I'm trying to place the glue on the very edge of the cardboard as well as on the top of it. And as I pull over the fabric, I'm trying to stretch it and just make it as tight as I can. And with this glue, it catches pretty good, pretty quickly. But not so quickly that you can't reposition it. So that's another reason I like using this kind of glue, is because you can reposition it. You can go back and do this all over again in a reasonable amount of time. Where with fabric tack, that would be, and glitter glue, that would be a little bit more difficult to do that. So I'm just pulling down, pressing, pulling. So then we come to the spine. You want to make sure that you get glue into the creases. And then make sure the creases are prominent. I think I used a key card to get into the crease there. Whatever you got that can redefine that area. And we're just continuing to go over. And I think over here in the corner, I had to lift up and reposition it because the two seams there were so far apart. I didn't really like the way that looked. So I had, and it was easy to do because it doesn't, it takes a while for this really to dry in place and everything. So it's just pressing and pulling and gluing as you go around. Then once they're all down, then I went over the edge of the fabric with additional glue just to make sure it stays down. We are going to be covering the inside with a cardstock for a liner, so much of this will not be showing. And then once you've figured you've done all that, I just put it up on its up on the end like so, and I let this dry overnight. Now after it's dried and you find out there's an area that did not make full contact and it's kind of bubbling up a little bit, you can take some extra glue and your brush and just really work in that area with lots of glue. See if that doesn't help. And if you need to, you can also go in and poke it with a pin or something like that and work in some more glue to just to kind of get it inside there in case that does happen. I didn't have that problem this time, so that was great. Now we're going to get to the fun part that I think is fun, and we're going to use some paint. And I'm going to use basil green from the Folk Art acrylic paint line with some off-white, and I'm going to mix these two together. Now the big thing about mixing paint and mixing your own custom color is that you want to mix enough the first time so you cover your whole project. So be very generous. I was not generous in this instance, and I just barely got the cover done with the same paint, because recoloring it and mixing it up again to get the exact same color you had is just not that easy to do. So be more generous than me. So when you paint over this fabric, of course, it's going to be different than a hard surface. You're going to have to really work it in there. So with my brush, I am like practically like I'm cleaning it. I'm almost scrubbing it in there, going over and over again to work in that paint. And I think too that I had less paint than I needed because visually I thought, oh, it's only going to take this much paint, and it actually does take more than you think it's going to take. Once that's done, you'll want to go over the edges, and as you go over the edges, there's always going to be a little bit more paint that gets piled there up there on the front, so you want to do the edge and then work it in when you get done. As you can see, it kind of gets thick up there on the top, so you want to work that back into the cover. And now once you get the front part all done, you'll want to let that sit and dry. I think it was about a half hour. You want it to be dried to touch. And I covered my paint with plastic wrap so it wouldn't dry out. But as long as you can, touch it and it's dry, you're good to go. You're going to turn it over. Now we're going to paint on the inside. And this is where I ran out of my paint. So I had to, of course, try to remix it. And that took a minute to do. I didn't film it because it was a bit of a process. And then we'll just go ahead and paint the inside. The key here is you want to get those edges, because what's going to show on the inside will be the very edge of the inside cover. And then after I've let it dry for a day or so, it was a little nubby, little nubs on the fabric kind of came up. So I just went over it with a light, fine sandpaper, just lightly went over it, just got those little nubs off so it's nice and smooth. Now I've been struggling with my lighting situation in my filming because my original one broke, my lamp. And so this lamp is really washing the colors out. But my next lamp, my next lighting situation, it kind of had the reverse effect. Now this is way too intense than it is in real life. So I'm still going to have to work on that. I decided that I wanted to go in a different direction. I wanted it to be a little bit more aged and worn looking. So I'm repainting it with a more mossy green, I think it's called mossy fern, more earthy type of color. So I'm repainting it with that. And then I'm going to take that same paint and mix brown with it and go over it again with a little bit of that brown. I should have added some water to this and made it more like a wash. I think it would have been a little bit better experience, but it still worked out okay. And that's the thing about the painting is don't worry too much about it because you can always go over it again if you don't like it. And so just trying to pull through some of that more brown shade to kind of give it a more worn look and to give it more depth. And so once I got that done, I ended up feeling like, well, maybe that's too brown. So I went back over again and I added more of my original paint. And it's just an experiment. It's just, you just play with it and you just keep playing with it until you're happy. And don't worry about it too much because it's all fixable. You know, if something you don't like about it, you can fix it. So I'm just working all that together again, as you can see. I just didn't want to have a solid color because that's what it was before. It's just one solid color, which is okay for some projects, but I kind of wanted it just a little bit more, just a tad more grungy. So that's why I'm going it over with the brown and just showing you kind of the process of it. All right, now we've got that done and I've let it dry for a day or so actually. It's really, really dry. I'm going to go over with the Distress ink. I'm using Vintage Photo and I'm going over it layer by layer. And that's really what I think this is the best way to proceed is just put on a layer and then if you don't like it, you can always darken it up. So I'm putting on the lightest layer that I think I want, and then I'm just going to go over it again if I feel like it's not dark enough. I'm paying some special attention to the corners because that's where a lot of wear takes place. So I want to get a real generous amount there on the corner. And in truth, I think as I work on the cover, I might even be putting on a darker Distress ink. So there we have it. You can kind of see the darkness in there. So the next time we get together, we'll be putting in some signatures. We'll be working on the cover and see what we're going to do with this little journal. Thanks so much for viewing, and we will talk to you again real soon. Bye.